Hi everyone, this is Elena of the Witches Box, and I'm here with another episode of Witch Booktube. And today we're going to be talking about a book called Witch Therapy by Mandi M. So this book is my way of giving you a resource to have when questions come up around what magical thing can I do for anxiety? What magical thing can I do for depression? I feel blah, 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 X, Y, and Z. What can I do magically to support myself? This book is a lovely answer to that in a way that is more specific than some of the other books that have attempted this in the past. And a couple of those books I've actually reviewed here in the past as well. So let me get into the what and the who's and the whatevers of this book. And just as you see, this is the cover. Just as an aside, I listened to this book on audio. I don't have the hard copy for it, and I actually regret not having that. I'm going to end up ordering it, but I just didn't want to wait. I wanted to just review it. So I'm going to read off of my phone. So excuse that I'm actually having to reference my phone as opposed to the book. It's a book that I'm definitely going to go ahead and buy, just so that you know. Okay, so the title of the book is Witchcraft Therapy, Your Guide to Banishing Bullshit and Invoking Your Inner Power by Mandi M. And let me read to you Mandi's bio, and then we're going to go into the table of contents because that's going to give you a really clear idea of what the book is covering. Mandi M is a freelance writer and solitary witch who shares approachable, funny self-help advice on her blog, Healthy Living with Hot Messes, and resources for non-religious witches at The Secular Witch. Her writing has been featured in the New York Times, Huffington Post, She Knows, Refinery 29, McSweeney's, and more. So that's the bio. Let me read to you the table of contents. So there's a disclaimer about medical advice that always, please don't use other people's books as a way to deal with medical issues. Always see a professional. There are the opening credits because it's an audiobook introduction. She goes over magical basics. And then chapter 1 has various sections, but I'm going to read to you the title and then the sections. Chapter 1 is Vibe Check Your Mindset. Then Get Your Grounding Game on Point. Challenge the helplessness myth. Flip your mindset by being grateful AF. Rid yourself of stank ass energy. Be gentle with your trauma. Fix your morning routine. Unleash your unique possibilities. Stop shit talking yourself. Unplug and disconnect. That's all encompassed in chapter 1. Chapter 2 is Conjure Confidence, and that includes connect with the strength inside, tap into your intuition, worship at the feet of the self, banish doubt and imposter syndrome, learn to love your body, choose to be reborn, recognize you're resilient AF, reconnect with your mojo, and visualize your potential. Chapter 3 is Summon Calm, practice patience by howling at the moon, hang on to that shitty bitch called life, go with the flow, hip check a bad day, get a little green and dirty, find balance, and cope with burnout. Chapter 4 is Make Mental Health Magic. Pause panic, light a fire under your own ass, cast clarity, get down with your bad self, get your shit together, shake that thing, cut cords with your former self, feed the sad witch, cope with the sad witch season. Chapter 5 is Cast Relational Sorcery. Set boundaries, break up with closure, ward independence, communicate clearly, break toxic patterns, cut the ties that harm you, transmute pain, open the circle, attract love. Chapter 6 is Enchant Your Life. Create a bucket list, curate your life, tackle productivity, attract prosperity, attract magical shit by giving back, rethink success, use the magic of rut busting. And then there are end credits. So right away, as I was reading the table of contents, you can tell that there's a very particular voice. It's a young voice. There's a lot of cursing, a lot of slang that's going to be really familiar to the millennial and younger crowd. I don't like it, which is interesting because I'm a cursy girl and I'm full of all sorts of mostly Gen X slang. I try to keep that to a minimum here so I don't speak to one crowd but not the other. But for some reason, which is interesting because it's not like I get offended by cursing in books, but there was something about it that just felt a little extra. But that's not, I think, enough of a criticism on the book to keep you from buying it. That's just a personal thing for me. It was a little distracting for me. However, she's providing a ton a ton of information and resources and alternative choices for dealing with challenges that we might have around our mental health. And when I say alternative, I'm not speaking about fringy or on the marginal. Yes, it's witchcraft, so it can be considered that. I mean, various alternatives. You have many different ways in which to address whatever challenge you may be going through, whether it's depression or feeling really negative or feeling really down or really having a hard time with the focus or being in the habituated negativity. There's a lot of really great, I think, applicable and productive ways of facing those things, dealing with those things magically in what she's providing here. The other thing that I really, really appreciated about this book, we talk about this here, is that she's coming from a perspective of take personal responsibility and what that looks like when we're talking about mental health. This is me talking now, but this is why I really appreciated the book and what this book provides. There is a very dangerous habit we're perpetuating in social media and in local society or in common society where we're watching TV and people are talking into each other, where it's an attitude that's incredibly toxic and dysfunctional. It's like the attitude that says, I have mental health issues, so you have to cater to whatever's going on. You have to make it better for me. You have to like enable my issues. And that is incredibly, incredibly dysfunctional. It's toxic. It's fucking us all up for many, many reasons. And there's a difference between being compassionate for each other, because we're all going through it at various levels, right? Let's be gentle and let's be kind and let's show up for each other. Yes, compassion. Yes, be good to each other. Yes, hold space for each other, because we are all at various places in a long spectrum of trauma and dysfunction and woundedness. The world is a rough place, but there is an underlying growing habituated thing where it's like, I have issues and it's all on you to make it better for me. We need to be very careful about this. We need to check ourselves and take that back, because what I love about this book is that the message is, you have agency, you have sovereignty. Yes, you're going to need help. Absolutely. This isn't about not asking for help, but this is about the orientation of don't sit back and think that you have no responsibility to take care of yourself because there may be mental health issues. We're all responsible for ourselves. We are all responsible for asking for help. And the rest of us are also responsible for saying, I want to show up in the world in a compassionate, supportive way. So when I get asked for help, if I have it in me, I'm going to help. You can tell what the difference is there, yeah? So I love that in this book, there's a ton of information. It's very compassionate. It's very aware of what the challenges are around working and living with mental health issues. And you are empowered, you have agency, you have sovereignty, and you can take responsibility for those things and do things for yourself that help you, including reaching out for help when it's needed. So I really appreciated that. I think that it's a beautifully healthy approach to take. I think that it's a necessary message to get out into the world. It is a great book to have when you're in it, man, and you're just like, sometimes it's really difficult to see beyond whatever it is that you're going through. If the anxiety is just blowing off the chart or the depression is just deep and down and dirty, it can be very difficult to get clear about, I'm not alone. There is help out there for me. It can be really hard to see that. Having a book like this on hand almost feels like a great support to have. Like, I need something, let me open it up and see what can come up right now so that I can do something right now. And then hopefully it'll get me into a position where I can ask for more help. Or it could be that some of these tasks and habits and rituals that she's gotten here can help bridge you over that hump. It's a great support. I think that she did a beautiful job. Again, the voice thing wasn't my steez, but it doesn't detract from the substance and I think the value of the book. So especially for those of you, we get these questions often like, look, I've got anxiety. What can I do for my anxiety? What kind of spell can I do for my depression? What kind of spell can I do for my ADHD or whatever it is that's going on? This is a great book for that. So I highly recommend it. This is probably a very short and sweet review, but I do highly recommend this book. It's a great resource to have. It is not a replacement for medical professional assistance, but it's a supportive book that can give you supportive practices to help you navigate living with whatever issue has come up or is ongoing for you. Great job. It's really lovely. The cover is gorgeous because, again, I listened to it on Audible. I don't know what the inside looks like, but the cover is beautifully designed. It's by, I think that Simon & Schuster published it. Beautiful book. Beautiful book. I recommend it. The link to the book will be down below. As my reading moves along in the next few months, if there are other books that deal with this topic, I would love to know about it, because at this point, I don't know that there are any others right now that I know of. So please list those book recommendations down below so that I can check those out as well, because it is definitely a topic that people are needing and asking for more. Most of you know, maybe I'm veering in a very particular reading direction that's pretty singular minded. So I'm not actively looking for this type of book, but if there are these types of books, give me the recommendations so that I can make a list and then get those, so that when I do kind of move out of my deep dive, I can research these books as well, because I think that it's a necessary topic, and we all will do better with being educated around what are the magical and spiritual practices that we can engage in that can support us through this journey. So like that, it's a great book. Recommend it. Mandi M. Beautifully done. And then if you have it, if you've read it or you're reading it, I'd love to hear what you think about it. And we will see you again next week. Take care.